it. Dang, Trev. Are you on the YouTube page?
Yes.
Are people on it?
I am.
I don't see.
It's labeled as unlisted.
Unlisted. I don't know. One watching now.
That's me. While you're.
That's probably because I set up the event on the studio.
I can hear it. Yep.
All the audios are on. And we are live with picture. Nope. Now we are.
So, what happened to our music, man?
I had to set this up differently. And did you want me to play music?
No, it's fine.
Why is it still showing
I'll get over it.
this on here?
Man, I'm glad I wore a bright color.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I know, right?
We keep it muted around here.
We're really mute.
This is really making me mad. What is that green on top of the... Oh, because of the... Hang tight. Hang tight. We're having some technical difficulties here.
Do you want me to zoom that camera in a little bit?
You'll lose some of you.
No. That's better. Are you splitting it into 4 screens?
Be on both. He can't.
I can't.
Okay, so
Probably.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm just saying you see the bottom of the table. Do you want me to
I see
zoom the
myself.
camera in?
I see myself. How you doing?
No. Well, in a second you'll see the bottom of the table.
Wait for it.
Oh no, it's just gonna be the way it is.
Yeah?
It's just the way it is. For some reason, my thing is frozen here. So we're gonna see what happens here.
Okay.
For some reason, my
Just a
control is
Try again.
messing up.
Baby.
Escape. Sweet. I like.
All right, fans. YouTube, what's up, YouTube? Sorry for the weird beginning. My control. Maybe we need Johnny V in here.
Nah.
My console
Oh.
is messing up.
Never heard of him.
I don't know why, but I'm gonna have to look at the monitor to see who's where. Sound is somewhat low. Hold on. All right, that should have turned it up for YouTube. Hopefully, if my console is acting correctly. I don't know why it's doing this. Sometimes technology just really.
That's just what we're gonna do the whole time. Just push each other back and forth with the arms of our chairs. Pinku the hot dog says, "I heard Missy throws far like a Gannon." Nailed it. She does. Look, check it out. This is how you know.
How's the audio sound? Nice. Sounds good. Okay, good. Sound is good.
Give me a camera shot here, Bobby, when you're ready.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing with the console.
Check out.
There we go.
She does throw far like a Gannon because look, she got a robot arm.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, when she goes to tournament, she
Bionic.
takes her regular arm off. And
Yeah.
Yes.
She hides it really well. It's kind of impressive, actually.
Yeah. I can't just have it at all the time.
That's right. You can intimidate her.
All right.
Jomez on my TV, DJM on my phone. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Oh, hey, Anthony. What's
So-
up, dude? Yes.
Yes, we are live.
You would never know it, but we are.
All right, guys, you ready?
Yes.
All right, we're going to get the recorder started, and we will start the show. What was that?
That was his desk going up.
Oh, sorry. No, you
Do it.
can. I didn't know what it was. I just heard,
Do it now.
Here we go.
Redbeard, how dare you?
Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. I have with me
Enthusiasm.
Eric.
So,
Sup, McKay. Oh, you were Sup last time.
no, last week I was Eric McCall.
Oh, that's right. You're Eric McCall
Yeah, what
last
the
time.
heck?
Robert, how did you play this weekend? McCall, we won't go over that. I'm sorry. I brought it up.
Super hateful. How'd you play this weekend? We want
Worse.
to get into
Worse.
it? Yeah, thank
Worse.
you. God.
And then our special guest, Missy Gannon. How are you, Missy?
I'm good. I'm just the right
Missy.
temperature.
You're just the right temperature. Nice. I like it. How did you play this weekend?
I played okay. Yeah. I ended up taking it down, so that's a good thing.
That's a
but
plus.
W.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked my first round the best.
Nice.
We won't
Same
talk
here,
about
Missy.
Well, we are back here for another week of the Disc Golf Answer Man show, but we have, of course, I just said, the special guest, Missy Gannon, all the way from, well, you didn't just come from Colorado because you've been traveling all over the place.
But I
New York
did
before.
kind
But you
of
did.
just come from Colorado.
Okay.
Yes. I was hanging out there the last couple of weeks with some old buddies out there and played an
Nice.
event out there too. So I did come from Colorado.
Nice. Well, if you don't know, she is a member of Team Dynamic Discs. And this is her first. Is it your first year, kind of really getting out there and traveling a lot, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I went out last summer for a few months, but this is my first, full year trying to do it. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So just in case we have a few people that maybe haven't heard of you or don't know your story, tell us kind of your disc golf story.
Ooh.
Now is when I need music. I need like some real motivational type.
Or
music.
some piano or
Yeah,
something.
some piano. So yeah, but tell us your disc golf story.
Sure. Yeah. So I had kind of a late introduction to disc golf. I'll be 30 this Friday, but I didn't start playing until I was about 26, I think, and it wasn't until I went out to Colorado. We moved out there about 4.5 years ago, and was introduced to the sport and just kind of started playing it more and more. And and the disc golf scene in Colorado is like so huge and awesome. So that just kind of helped to propel me into the sport pretty quickly. So yeah, that's where it all started, was in Colorado. I was born and raised in New York and didn't really hear much about disc golf there. But there are some really great courses right around where I lived, but I just had no idea that they were there. So yeah, I'd have to say, being in Colorado, that's where it all started. And, yeah, long story short, I just fully engulfed in the sport, played Am Worlds, did all of that, met you guys there, and, was fortunate enough to get picked up by you guys. It helps when Paige Pierce is, backing
She,
you up.
she advocated for you big time.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. And she still
So,
does.
Yes, definitely. So yeah.
So in your disc golf career and going up and learning more, what were some of the? Could you pick maybe one or two things that you know now that you wish you could tell Missy when she first started playing?
Yeah. I would just say, try to just be confident. And I know, like, when you're learning and trying to, find your way through the different divisions and all that, just throw every shot with conviction, and don't be nervous if you miss a putt. It's okay. I think as you grow, and that's kind of what we hear a lot, is when you're on tour, a lot of the touring professionals who have been in the sport forever, they still have nerves, but like they just kind of know that they just just throw every shot with conviction, and having that sort of mental stability out on the course, and that's something that comes in time, but. The confidence part of it is so important. And even if it's a 75-foot jump putt, just tell yourself you're going to make it, and at least put yourself in the right headspace.
Gotcha. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, let's catch up with us real quick. Now that we know everything about Missy, we can move on.
Yeah. You have exactly as much background on Missy as you now have on all three of us.
Correct.
It's true.
So, yes, we did have the Monkey Island Open this past weekend. And
I wish I could have played.
Rip. What? I thought I saw you out there, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't you.
That was Saturday.
Oh,
I was out there
okay, I
walking
gotcha.
around, supporting.
Gotcha. Dang it.
As you can tell, none of us did really well except for maybe Anthony, who played really well.
Danny played pretty well too.
Oh yeah, Danny did well. He cashed.
Yeah, Danny cashed. Well
so
done.
he was proud of that. But if you've been following along the bet that me and Anthony had, I lost the bet. I played under my rating, which didn't feel very good.
Just by a little, not a lot.
Okay.
But
it
your
felt
first,
like a lot.
right? But your first round was 8-0 something. So
801.
right there.
Yeah.
But then the second one was a little bit lower.
797.
Yeah.
So it was pretty bad, but it gave me a baseline.
Yeah,
Of course, I tell myself, it's been months since I played last, and all that
for sure.
stuff. So
Anthony played over his rating, averaging 930 something.
Like 9:30-ish.
Nice.
yeah, so he did really well.
So then you had to film the 5K, 10K.
So I had to fail the 5K, and I captured about 4 really close ones.
Yep.
Nice.
And now day one, Danny filmed that, and Anthony was he
Ooh,
the only one that got
so
close?
Joey Bergman.
Joey Bergman. Of course.
Oh, nice,
Joey.
yeah.
So he had 2 people. I actually filmed somebody falling on the tee pad,
Saw that.
Nice.
which you'll get guys.
That'll
will get to
make the
enjoy
bloopers later.
So, anyway, so we had a Monkey Island Open, and that's about all we're going to want to talk about it because none of us performed really well.
Yeah.
No, let's.
I'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, that's
Nice.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. Missy did
Yeah,
it.
sick.
But no, let's learn from it. Let's have our audience learn from it. Robert, what did you
Man.
learn?
You don't want to know what I learned.
This is I can start us off. Of the 3 Answer Man regulars, I finished the best relative to where we maybe not expected to finish, but placement wise, I finished 6th in Open. I was tied for 2nd after the first round. I shot 54 with we played a 20-hole course. I had 14 threes and 6 twos, so no 4s. That was a really good start, but just didn't do anything crazy. Just I made 1 really long putt. That was about it. And the last 2 years at Monkey Island, I've done pretty much the same thing. Pretty good first round, not great second round. And so this time I was like, look, I have another shot. I'm gonna get him. And I started off. I birdied 3 of the first 6.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry if you're gonna watch the coverage.
Oh yeah, hello.
But then ran into a bit of misfortune on one of the holes, and okay, so when you don't play disc golf for a little while, your throws start to feel a little off, and it takes a little while to knock the rust off. Same for when you don't play tournament or competitive disc golf. My mental game, bouncing back from that was not great. I didn't get really down on myself. I just didn't commit very well after that. I came up short on a lot of putts, missed a bunch of tee shots by just a little bit. So it was quite frustrating. So yeah, ended up in 6th place. I think I averaged 990 something on the weekend. Not great. Yeah, that's it.
Would you like to have a recap? Yours?
I cashed. I don't know what happened. I went into the day with really low expectations, actually, because honestly, I don't even remember the last time I played 2 rounds in a day.
Yeah.
And I'd been kind of fighting through some injuries, and just 1 round was struggling to get through and not feel like crap the next day. But I went out. I was positive. I mean, you could ask Tom. He was on my card both rounds, and I never did anything too bad, I don't think. That I recall. maybe once toward the end of the round, but that's okay. But no, I couldn't get anything going.
Yeah.
Putts weren't falling. My drives were okay. I missed both islands first round, which I've never done.
Yeah, that's brutal.
On the day, I had, 9 4s and a 5, and I'll go out there and not get 4s for weeks.
Right, yeah.
I'll go out and play the course and not get birdies too.
Right.
But I'm usually just getting pars. So that was a little frustrating for me. But, first tournament back in I don't know how long. And it is what it is.
Struggle.
My big thing that I'm going to work on is definitely my putting. What was very frustrating for me now, I could swear it at least 9 times, or at least it felt like 9 times, but it was quite a few times that I was putting and I hit the cage, but I hit it right in the middle. Like if it would have been up maybe 4 or 5 inches, it would have been right in the basket. And so there is something about tournament time and competition that you just kind of get they call it the yips or whatever. So once I missed like 2 of those like that, then I was like way nervous. And so, but I need to get that confidence back. So definitely that's something I'm going to work on, because I'm still going to be on the road to be rated 850. I'm not going to let one tournament just.
Yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't that be kind of a bad story? After one tournament, I'm hanging it up.
Yeah,
That'd be a good story though.
for sure. Yeah,
I bet somebody would pick it up.
Yeah, I think so. 30 for 30 possible.
Lifetime. Or
I will
yeah.
say though, shout out to 14-year-old Isaiah Esquivel,
Yes.
who had an ace the first round, absolutely murdered the course. He was leading open after the first round.
was
He still
awesome.
finished in the cash, didn't accept cash, but it's awesome to see him performing out there.
Yeah, Doc on the board said 6th is bad. He said 6th is bad. No, it's not bad. It's just I shot 10-20 the first round and 9-60 something the second round. It was just disappointing after the way the first round went. But
Sixth is bad. I mean, if you were going to win the tournament, then if you said, "Hey, I'm going to go win this tournament," and I finished 6th, that's bad.
I mean, I'm not stoked on it, but
Yeah.
I'm not super upset.
I
Yeah,
can
you
relate to that too, because my first round was, I was very proud of it. And I even knew that I had some strokes that I could have cleaned up.
Sure.
But going into the second round, I had quite a good buffer, and
Right.
and I ended up only winning by 4. So that was kind of a
Like,
a
whoa,
wake up
hey.
call to me to just you need to be able to manage that sort of play.
Now that was the first time you ever played Peter Pan? No.
No, I've played it in the past.
Oh, that's right. Okay, good.
A couple of the holes were new to me, maybe only one actually, but yeah. So I was pretty comfortable coming in.
First time playing Monkey Island,
Yes.
right, with the amphitheater hole,
Yes.
which is it's not hard, but it's intimidating when
Right.
the wind's blowing and I got to stick this
Yep.
island.
No, I went 4-2 on that hole. So I mean,
there you go. That's exactly what I did as well.
Yep.
I did one worse than that.
So we had for both days we had the 5K, 10K Ace Challenge we talked about. I threw a trespass, and if it had gone another 30 or 40 feet, I may have had an ace.
Sick.
So I had a good
Nice.
line, which was
Yeah.
felt good. You know those times when you can see it cross right in front of the basket. But obviously it didn't have the distance. But what did you guys throw on that Ace Challenge?
I'm probably a bad person to ask. I threw a Dynamic Discs Raider, which I leaned on quite a bit throughout the weekend. Got a few birdies with it, which was nice. But on that hole, for whatever reason, I've actively thought, hey, just make sure you get it there. Like, don't come up short.
Right.
And I threw it, 90 feet right up in those trees. Just like never a chance ever of going in ever. And then I did the exact same thing second round. So yeah, I almost got $10,000 if the basket was up like really high in one of the trees.
Oh,
sick.
we might try that next year.
Yeah, if you do, I've got a good line for it already. Dang it.
What about you, Missy?
I threw a trespass, a fusion burst trespass. I was really confident, and when I introduced myself, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this," and I just completely sawed it off and almost went into the trees on
Super
the
left,
left.
yeah.
That's a very popular spot over there.
Yeah.
I threw an enforcer. The wind was up quite a bit when I
Yeah.
got to that hole, and I put an okay line on it. It was a little short. I got a birdie, so I mean it's not that you want to get a birdie on a hole you're trying to ace.
No, but that's a good shot.
But
so.
it was absolutely not as close as the DD Open when I threw
Oh my goodness, that EMAC truth.
Ah,
on
yeah,
the
on hole
elevated
12.
basket. Oh my god, I watched that video to this day, and I still think that's going in. Like,
It looks
Dude,
like it.
but wait, is that gonna make it?
Did I get 10 grand and I just forgot?
Yeah.
Like, no.
If Danny was editing that day, we know that he could have made that happen.
Yes, yes.
Come on, Danny.
Thanks, AJ.
I offered to doctor people's footage for $10,000.
Yeah, you did offer that.
You
Cheat.
should have said $9,000.
All right, so that was our weekend of Disc Golf Monkey Island Open. The weather is getting nicer and nicer as each day goes by, so we'll be having more disc golf talks.
And it was fun to just be able to get back out there. Like, we haven't gotten to play disc golf hardly at all for the last several months. So
At least comfortably.
yes,
We've played
Yeah, we played a
a
little,
little here and
but
there,
just been very upset while doing it.
All right, so we're going to hop on over to the questions, get some of these questions answered. And then we actually, on the Facebook group, we posted to see if anybody had questions for Missy. We had a few on there, so we'll get to those here in a little bit as well. But we will jump on into some questions. Remember, guys, go to discgolfanswerman.com. Submit your disc golf questions. We will try to get it on the air in a month or two.
Gosh. Do you think it'd be worthwhile for us to guess what Missy would say as an answer to those questions? Just you don't have to answer now. Just think about it. Like you read the questions for Missy, and then we'll just whoever is closest to what she actually says gets a point. And the person who gets the most points wins Torchy's Tacos 5 months from now.
5 months from
How's
now.
that sound?
That's good. All right. We'll play your game here in a minute. So
Nice.
yeah.
We really don't have to. I was actually just trying to burn time for you to pull up questions.
Oh, I
but
got you.
yeah.
I appreciate
You
that.
shouldn't have done that though. You should have done it to someone else because he was focused on what
Yeah.
you were saying. And
First
not
time ever.
doing anything.
And
yes,
that's the first time
nailed
that's
it.
happened. Okay. Do you got questions, Bobby?
Well, I was reading this.
Oh,
See, there it
we
is.
go.
There it is.
There it is.
Bingo.
All right, this one's from Fred. Number 255. I'm assuming he's talking about podcast show number 255. He says, regarding the rule limiting a player's use of disc without the 500 market requirement. And I actually think we were wrong.
I'm ready to hear your answer.
I wasn't here for this episode.
Do
Me neither.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he says the point was
We're in the
made.
clear.
The point was made in effect that the use of a such disc was okay due to some flaw in the PDJ rule. Eric remarked that there would be a rule
was there.
change to deal with the situation. No PDJ authority with a bit of enforcement energy would concede that point. The maker's contracted promise applies to the player as assisted agent of the what?
I don't even know. You
The
lost me.
maker's contracted promise applies to the players as assisted agent of the maker. Fail promise, contract dissolves, no approval. Who in PDGA wrote this?
Who wrote
is he
that?
reading it from the rule?
I
guess. I don't.
The reason
Fred, I'm sorry if I. But
Contact the PDGA.
yeah, I am reading this word for word as it was
yes,
put in
the
there.
reason that I said what I said was
What did we say? I can't remember what it was.
it was that for right now for 2019, once a disc is on the approved list, you can use it unless it's within 30 days of Worlds.
Of a major championship.
Yes, it needs to be released more than 30 days before Worlds.
There was something we were wrong about. I can't remember what it was.
Okay, now usually there needs to be 500 made available for the public, or with the intent for 500 to be made available. But that they're being sold publicly, right? Because it might not be prudent for 500 to be available all at once for smaller companies. But we had an issue with not an issue, but people were asking about the Raider and some of the Trilogy Challenge discs, and then a couple of Discraft discs that have come up, the Raptor and the Kong. People were asking about that were being used, and I know Sexton's new putter, Firefly, is that something like that? I don't remember exactly what it is, but those were being used in competition. So Jeremy contacted Joe from the PDJ. He's the PDJ director. And Joe said, for 2019, if a disc is on the approved list, it is approved, period. Outside of the World's 30-day thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to reword that in 2020 to make sure that it's much more black and white.
Yes.
So,
Which is apparently what I said.
yes. Yes. I think I said it, but he thinks you said it.
Because I don't think I
So
was here for that
I don't think so
episode, but
either.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that episode as I was on the road.
Yes. So that's what the reason that I said that is because that's what Joe, the director of the PDJ, said. There you go.
Boom,
Next question.
Okay, this one's from Ryan. Let's see what you guys have to say about this. I've heard that Westside team members such as Webster and Hatfield aren't getting Tour Series discs. I personally love Westside the most out of the trilogy, and I'm saddened to see the brand not get as much attention and options as DD and Lat 64. Also, regarding this issue, let's get the Maiden in more plastics stat.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your
I'll
your
direct
opinion.
this to the team
I was gonna say,
captain, director.
It's Dynamic
Dynamic
Discs
Disc
Manager.
Manager.
My bad.
Yes, we are. We've been talking. We talked a lot last year about getting some Tour Series discs for Kyle and Coda and for Larry Gardner. Those were in the works, and we didn't have the raw material to make those happen, which was at the time the OptoX, LucidX, or VIPX plastic. We didn't have the material to make that happen at the time. Then by that time, our current molds were already being run, so we still don't have the raw material to make that happen. Now, in this, instead of that, we have those guys. We're making Dymax fundraisers for them that'll be sold through the website, but then also sold to them obviously at a discount, so that they can sell them and raise some funds for themselves. So it's not that we don't care about Coda and Kyle and those guys. We've had these discs in the works for a little while. I would love to have more access to that OptoX, LucidX, VIPX material, but we just don't. It's always in limited supply. So that's why that is.
All right, Missy.
But
Go ahead. Yes.
Just
Sorry.
as a plug for them,
So
if you want to support those guys, pick up one of those Dymax discs. Kyle and Coda both have them right now, and you can they receive a significant portion of the disc that you buy. So get some of those and support those guys if you want to.
Please do.
All right, Missy. So I'm assuming that Colorado does get snow, correct?
Correct.
And lots of it, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Correct, Vito. So this one would be good for you. Ready? Alan says, hey, guys, I live in Jackson, Wyoming, and we have a ton of snow right now. I have really been wanting to improve my game, but there's no place to throw here due to almost 5 feet of snow. I've been using a basket and putting in my apartment, but was wondering if you guys have any ideas on ways I could work on my form during the winter.
Ooh. Well,
Winter's over.
well, actually,
On
I.
April 16, winter will be here. Game of Thrones.
Dun, dun, dun.
Are you a Throny?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I actually spent the off season in New York with family, and so New York probably gets, I want to say like worse snow than Colorado. I don't know how to describe it, but the snow sticks around a lot longer in New York than it does in Colorado. And so for me, I mean, the off season had a lot going on for me, but it still was key for me to keep those sort of fundamentals and things working. But I mean, honestly, for me, it was more let's putt. Let's just keep my putting strong. I know that there are a lot of different sort of workouts with like elastic bands you can do to keep that like throwing form intact, I guess. So just stuff like that. Also, just working out a little bit can help just to keep you loose throughout the winter. But yeah, for me, it was a lot of putting and some elastic band type work. But other than that, I mean, luckily I was able to get out and play a little bit. But just keeping loose during the winter months, I think, is the best thing I can say.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. All right, next one comes from Brandon. My max is 280 to 300 feet. I had an all Westside disc bag, which included 2 Swan 2 to 3. No, wait. 2 Swan 2s.
Yes.
3 harps.
Yes.
Terces, pine, worship, 2 seers, stag, hatchet, 2 Atis, Northman, boatman, sword, 2 sorcerer, and a world.
That's a good West Side setup.
Yeah. I was carrying the discs to cover understable, overstable, and straight with every category, and this led to too many discs and inconsistencies. I modified down to 2 deputies, 3 harps, 3 truths, 3 explorers, a stag, 2 escapes, a felon, and a Northman.
All right.
Will this help with being more consistent since I have limited my molds? I think he needs 1 deputy, 5 harps, 2. Whoa. No, so he has limited his molds. Does that help someone with their consistency? Is that part of trying to help someone's consistency?
I think it'll help with certain shots. I don't know that it'll help with consistency
Right.
across the board. Would you agree with that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I limited my bag a little bit, but I still have quite a few different molds, and it's just learning those molds and learning what they do. Doing field work is huge, because you can carry whatever you want as long as you know what they do. Then you're going to be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Are you one that has a lot of different molds, or do you have a lot of the same molds in different like stages of wear?
Yeah, I guess I am sort of in between. I used to have a lot of molds. I sort of narrowed it down. I mean, I kind of go along with the same thing where I have the different stabilities covered. So I think when it comes to my drivers, I'm a little more limited. But when it comes to my mid ranges and putters and approaches, I pretty much have. So I have deputies, harps, justice, verdict, truth, and like fuse for my mid ranges and under. And those have been working great for me. And yeah, I think it's just a matter of what works for you. And
Nailed it right there with what works for you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I will say if you're throwing 280 to 300, then it sounded like he took out the higher speed discs in his bag. That will probably be more beneficial to you. Because if you're topping out at 300, a world is not going to be of great use to you. A sorcerer might be okay. That'd be fine. But because it's more kind of high speed understable. But something like a world is not going to be great. So, yeah, narrowing down to kind of that 10 speed and lower until you develop a little bit more arm speed, a little bit smoother form, and you're not, torquing stuff over if you need to turn something to the right. That's going to help you quite a bit, I think.
Excellent. Also, if you have questions if you've tuned in before, you'll know that we answer YouTube chat questions at the end. So hold off on your questions, and especially if you have questions for Missy, but we'll get to those here at the end of the show here. This next, let's go to a speak pipe. Let's see. This one is from Penjami.
It's not correct, but go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. I know it just hurts you not to correct me.
Well, the J is a soft J.
Oh, Pen Softy?
Be like
Penyami?
Yes, something like that.
All right, so here we go. Let's see.
He's going to say
Adjusting
Penyami
volume.
Pesonen.
Hello, Disc Golf Answer Man. Hello, Bobby Cool, Daddy Super Slim Breeze,
Dang.
and Eric, capable of doing good stuff,
Capable.
All right.
and Robert, McCool.
So,
This is Penny Pesonen here from Finland, and
say
today
you're
I
wrong.
have a couple of questions for you guys. First, my question is about a disc. I would really love to throw an Lucid Deputy, but unfortunately we don't have those here for us mere mortals in Finland. When are there gonna be a stock around of Lucid Deputies? Then, my second question.
Oh, we'll go to the first one. It's just a TFR right now, Lucid Deputies?
yes.
It was
Okay.
last year, I know. I don't know about this year.
I haven't heard any plans, specifically dates or anything like that, for when they're going to be stocked.
Yep. There are Moonshine stock ones available now, and I think
okay.
they're going to fly pretty similarly
Yeah.
to the Lucid ones.
Okay, there you go. All right, next one.
Question is about the Waco Annual Charity Open that happened last weekend. What is your guys' take on the pars of the
I knew that was coming.
mature of the holes in Waco? I think they're pretty soft compared to the level that our best players in the sport are playing. What's your take on that? And I want you to keep it honest and keep it real. And what would gonna be your plans to make this sport tougher for our pros at the moment? Thank you.
All right, so he is asking, so this is something that definitely came up a lot on the internet.
The internet.
I saw a lot of people talking about, because of course Macbeth shot that 18 down, and it brought up some controversial people thinking that incorrect pars or soft pars at Waco, and I saw a few people say they felt it was soft, and that the rebuttal is, well, you've never played it or something like that. So,
I mean,
so this is the time where we keep it. It didn't work.
Nice. In your face.
Oh man!
Sucks to suck,
Why
man.
didn't it work? Why don't you? Never mind. Well, now I feel like an idiot. Okay, go ahead.
well, you don't look like one, so
You
that's
guys,
good.
you guys talk about it.
So, okay, well, you guys were both there, correct?
I was not.
I was
Okay,
there.
Missy was not there. For some reason, I thought you were. I have played Waco, and
Keep it real.
Thanks, Bobby.
There we
Thank
go.
you. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Jeez. Understand where your priorities are. You made me lose my train of thought.
sorry.
Thanks, Bobby. Hole 18 is really the only one that had come to mind on people thinking it was more soft. I think it's a true par 4 with all the OB especially. And for me personally, as a course designer, I am perfectly fine with reachable par 4s. There's reachable par 4s in golf. You have eagles for a reason. And with all the OB, I mean, that hole there is true risk reward.
Yep.
I mean, if you've got the arm to go for it, do it. I mean, power to you. So there was another one. I think Anthony and I were talking about it coming down the stretch. There was a par 5. I think it's course hole 18.
So
And
12 on the
Hole 12 tournament.
Yep, tournament
layout.
12.
And it could be a par 4, I suppose.
The
what I've
other
heard.
par 5 played actually even easier than that.
But it's in the
yeah.
woods too.
Both of them are.
Yeah, so I don't know. To me, I grew up playing disc. I've been playing for many years. So back when I first started, everything was a par 3.
Right.
No matter how far the hole was, par has always been irrelevant to me. You shoot a number, you don't shoot so many under par.
Yep.
So it all adds up the same. You still won or lost the tournament by the same amount of strokes. So I try not to pay too much attention to pars.
Yeah.
So when people say soft par, they mean that what they're literally saying is that The event is saying this is a par 4, but most people would play it as a par 3. Is that what we're getting
saying
at, right?
That, saying basically that Paul did not shoot 18 under if the course wasn't
Right.
so favorable for
Correct.
par.
Did they change the par just because it's the tournament? I mean, if I go to play that today,
I think it says
Is it
par
just-
3 on 18.
Does it?
On
the tee side?
I think somebody sent that to me the other day.
okay.
But that's 18 is the one that I think you have the best argument for it being a par 3 instead of a par 4, even more so than the par 5s being par 4s. So thanks to the beauty of UDisc, I have course stats pulled up from the event.
Yeah.
So hole 12 was one of the par 5s in the woods, and relative to par, it played 0.14 strokes under par. That was the last one before you leave the woods. There was a very small amount of eagle threes, 38% birdies, 42% par, and then 14% bogey, and then it just gets worse from there, right? Then the other par 5 actually played even easier. Hole 9 played 0.39 strokes under par. 5% of the field eagled it, 49% birdied. So you could make a stronger case that 9 should be a par 4 than 12 should be based on the way that people played it. Hole 18, 9% of the field took eagle there, 57% birdied. But
Wow.
I think the reason that you see those is like the wind at Waco that week was pretty strong the first 2 days and not very strong the third day. And the first 2 days, it was a tailwind with the slightest right to left, and that is the perfect wind for those guys to be able to go for it with ease. I mean, even guys whose effective distance is 400-ish could get over the water and get inside the circle or close with that sort of wind. So it just so happens that was a really favorable set of conditions for that hole in particular. If it's a headwind, that hole plays so difficult. And I love people talking about how soft par is who haven't played out there. If you haven't played the Beast, you don't understand how difficult it is to throw the lines that these guys and girls are throwing. It's really tight in the woods, and if you get off just a little bit, it's usually at least a stroke penalty, if not worse. And so, yes, the par may have been soft for the top competition. I don't think it's soft across the board. They just made it look really easy because they're really good.
I heard another podcast where they looked at Colling's score last year that won it, and he would have got eight and seventh or eighth.
He actually shot the same thing this year that he did last year.
Okay,
which was 33 under, and he finished tied for 6th.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. People played a lot better out there this
Do
year.
you think people play better because they play better, or because of the win
I
factor
think
that you're talking
conditions
about?
had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, I think both, honestly.
okay.
People just played you don't see those sort of scores out there. When we were out there last year, the hot round, I think, of the entire tournament was a 54, which was 13 under par. Actually, shout out Peter McBride. Sick, Peter. I'm pretty sure that was a hot score of the event last year. And then, Macbeth went out there this year and shot a 49, which is absurd. But then there were 16s and 15s and lots of 14s and stuff. And so, yeah, the conditions were really favorable. But people were playing really well out there this year, for sure.
So what's the whole argument of it? Was this 18 down better than what was it?
D-Glow
Yeah,
hands
better.
down is
Yeah.
harder.
Harder.
I've
harder
played
to play.
both courses, and D-Glow is much more
Yeah,
impressive.
a lot more elevation, a lot more places to some of their par 3s are, pretty long. Most of the par 3s on this course average, I bet they don't average over 320 across the board. And there's some that are, 213, 215, tight wooded shots, but if you can throw straight, you can birdie those on the reg.
Did you watch any of the coverage, Missy? I
Yeah,
know you weren't there, so.
Yep, I definitely did.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, I have never played in Waco, so I can't really speak to the course. But I agree with Eric, I've always been one of those people who just, I'm just shooting to shoot a score,
Right.
I mean, it does mentally feel really good to get a birdie, or an eagle, but, which I've never done before. I've gotten birdies, but not eagles yet. But honestly, I mean, you're just out there to play as best as you can, and, your score is going to be your score anyway.
Yeah.
But I think I probably agree. I think D-Glow looks harder, but it's pretty cool that Paul was able to do what he did with a whole new bag. That's pretty sweet, I thought. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, next one comes from Ryan. Right. There we go.
Hello, Bobby. Cool Daddy Slick Ace. That's right. You have more career aces than me. Congrats.
Sick.
I had a situation occur in a tournament the other week where I was playing with a couple of guys who were new to the tournament scene. Third hole in, I throw an approach shot. It's about half a foot away from the pole under the basket, and one of the newer guys on my card bends over, grabs my disc off the ground, tries to hand it to me, and says, "That's close enough. It's a gimme." Obviously, that is a no-no.
Yes.
Penalties were assessed, and we moved on.
Wow.
And it got me thinking: would there be a benefit to having maybe 2 forms of PDGA membership, where it is right now, where you pay your $50 and play your tournaments, and maybe have a entry-level membership where all you got to do is take a little quiz. It costs no money, but you still have to pay the extra $10 as if you didn't have a PDGA number in tournaments, and have that quiz go over rules and stuff that forces you to read the rule book. That way you at least have that on your mind. Do you think that might be a good idea, or would it discourage new players from wanting to get into the tournament scene? Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Thanks.
I mean, I suppose if you were to break it down granular, it would discourage a few people. I don't think it would discourage a lot of people.
Right.
My thing is, though, you would still have people not knowing all the rules. Of course. It just happens. I mean, as a pro and to play NTs, right, you have to be certified. You have to take the test and everything.
Official exam, yeah.
Right. And so you're thinking you'd expect all these pros to know the rules. Well, there are still situations where I've been walking around and I hear players not arguing but debating over a rule, you know, and so I think it would still happen. I mean, that's unfortunate, and I'm sure that was very frustrating to have that happen, but I don't know that it would fix every little infraction that would happen.
I had something similar happen to me once.
Yeah.
2003, way back. First year I actually went on tour. I was playing the Golden State Classic in La Mirada, California. Dave Dunapace was on my card. You know Dave.
Yes.
Founder of Innova. I was intimidated to be playing on a card with him, and it's my first NT. I mean, it was the absolute first NT ever, too. It was the inaugural event of the national tour. And I remember I putted, missed a putt, and it dropped. It was right by the basket. I was walking up. Dave putted out, reached down, grabbed my disc, and not just handed it, but threw it to me.
Dang it.
And I'm like, I catch it, and I look up at him and then look around at the group, and I'm like,
what do I do?
What do I do? I have no idea what to do. I didn't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
So the group kind of walked. I walked over, put a mini down, and putted it in, and walked to the next hole. So
And that was it?
That was it.
Wow.
But it was such a weird, surreal moment for me. Being first time out on tour, and he throws me my disc. I'm like, that's like 3 violations. What are you doing,
Bro,
But yeah, it was
there's a decent chance you made this.
yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, I had that situation at the
Yeah,
not the
you told
was
us
it
that.
Oklahoma Open or whatever where I threw and somehow the fairways were next to each other and a guy threw from my disc, thought it was his disc, and so when he was done throwing, he picked up my disc and we were looking for it. And when we realized what had happened, I said, "You picked up my disc."
Yeah.
And he turned around and like not even apologized or anything, but just
Threw it?
just threw it at me a good 30, 40 feet. And I was like, I even went, no. Okay, thanks. So it's just going to happen because you're going to have people that are either casual or don't really care to know much about the
Right.
rules.
Right.
They don't care. They signed up for rec because they wanted to. They
It's a
heard
local
about,
tournament.
Yeah, it's a local tournament. And they heard about it and they wanted the players pack, so they signed up. So
I think that's why Dave signed up for that tournament.
probably he needed the players back. Yeah, he was looking for some extra discs. All right, let's see. Next question comes from Dougie Fresh. I have some discs I enjoy using with colors that are hard to find, even after an accurate throw and laying in a short grass field. For example, dirt purple, grass green, and lost in a briar thicket red.
What dirt is purple?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm interested.
What options do I have, being on a budget, to enhance finding the discs without replacing the discs, which the cost adds up fast? Don't throw into places where you can't find your disc.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there an option?
Not without replacing them. Not really. I mean, you can dye a clear disc or a lighter disc to be a darker color, but that doesn't do much for you if it's already purple.
You can't do it the other way.
Yeah,
Could
you
you do
can't
like-
undye it.
Can you do like people do in winter disc golf and put the little ribbon on it?
GPS tracking.
I don't think you can do that, but that's
You don't
not a
think you
bad
can do that in
suggestion.
summer and just have
No.
ribbons?
You can.
You can just
can
say,
absolutely do
I
it.
want to
You
have a
just
disc
can't
with flair.
play an event.
You have
It have the little curly ribbons on
minimum
You should
15
fill your
pieces
bag
of
with-
it.
flare.
Yeah.
Fill your bag with burst discs that are multiple colors.
All right, next one is from Derek. Oh, he even put it out for me phonetically. And I can't even say it, even if it's phonetically.
Man, how nice of him to help you out in that way.
Abu Shan.
Nice.
There we
How do you
go.
spell it?
Aubuchon.
I don't know what I would have.
I'm glad he did because I would have said Abuchan. Abacon?
Yeah, there it is.
Malachi?
Malachi.
Malachi.
Did you see that guy posted the thing where it had the store was actually called Malachi?
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
All right, back to Derek's question. Sorry in advance for the long question. I have a horrible back, missing discs. Ha, pun.
Because disc golf.
Arthritis, etc. This winter it got worse, so a long reach back, turning hips quickly, etc. just plain hurts. I don't want to stop playing, but I fear my days are numbered. Any advice on keeping moderate distance without good normal form? They are perplexed.
Okay, here it is. You can. All right, so this is not recommended for everybody. So please don't everybody do
We
this.
are not doctors.
Yes, let's disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
I am not a doctor. I do drink Dr. Pepper often. So I'm more doctor than most of the people at this table. But
Correct.
still. Anyway, so if you can't reach all the way back, then I would say reach back as far as you can without it being painful and focus on accelerating more than on speed, right? If you start slow and finish fast, that's how you're going to get the most. That's how you're going to impart the most spin that you can on the disc and get your arm up to speed as fast as possible. I would even take it easy with that though. Like make sure and take it slow. And if this was me and I still wanted to play disc golf and I could either throw 300 and be in pain or 250 and get to play for years, I'm taking 250.
Oh, of course.
Every time. So I would, it's not really fun to say, but I would definitely lower your expectations of how far you want to throw and how competitive you want to be and just play the best game that you can, That's how it is when I go play traditional golf. I am not good at golf, but I'm also not expecting to be really good at golf. I just go because I enjoy it. So yeah, lowering those expectations I think helps you to enjoy yourself a little bit more, knowing that you're not going to be able to throw super far. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would agree with that. I mean, if it's hurting, you obviously need to take some time off.
Yeah.
It's you can't just continue to fight through pain and then all of a sudden you can't play at all. We've all been there before. I don't know. I've been injured many times throughout my career, so I know playing through injuries is not fun and it's not something I would recommend.
I luckily haven't been injured yet.
Knock on something.
But even maybe focusing on what you can do to strengthen your back outside of disc golf, maybe stretches or anything else to maybe hopefully ease that pain a little bit. I'm sure you're probably have looked into that before, but maybe just try to figure that out on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Disc Golf Strong has some specifically back strengthening and core strengthening exercises that could help you out. So yeah, check out Seth Munzie, Disc Golf Strong.
All right, so we had a couple questions on Facebook group that were specifically for Missy, so we will
Nice.
get to some of those right in a few minutes. So let's go to Northway. This one's from Erica. She says, I would love to hear how Missy, Tom, and Pippi are doing with their A-frame. Any tips, tricks, or funny stories she would be willing to share? Now, first tell everybody what the story is. You're on tour and you're living in a A-frame camper that's being towed behind your vehicle, right?
Yes. So that's my tour vehicle. My tour vehicle is my Jeep, and then we're towing an A-frame pop-up camper. I don't know if you know what that is. It's just sort of like a four-sided
shape of a B.
little A-frame.
Once you expand it out, it looks like a B.
Lowercase.
It's not very aptly named.
No.
So it folds down to flat, and it's really easy to tow. Erica, I think I know. Yeah, she's from Colorado. So hi, Erica. Yeah. So I mean, so far we haven't had any like funny or weird things happen. I'm sure it's going
That you
to.
can say.
Get out of here.
But I think that it's been cool. It's been super fun, a learning experience. It's there's like a whole A-liner, which is that's like the brand, A-liner community out there.
Really?
Which is, yeah, it's like a disc golf community kind of feel too. They're like,
I can see it in this day and age.
yeah, super supportive. We're probably like one of the youngest A-liner owners, but yeah, we've met a lot of people. We're like a part of a club now too. It's kind of
Nice.
it's crazy, but so yeah, that's been really cool. Nothing really. I mean, it's been super fun, and I think probably the funniest thing is like, you know, we sometimes like, you know, park in a Walmart or something, and it's sort of like we pull up, we find our spot, and we like look at each other in the front seat, and we're like, all right, you ready? And we like hop out. It takes like less than 30 seconds to pop up. It's
Really?
like, well, when you got as good as us, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
But-
When you're an A-liner.
But we just hop out and we're like pop 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 pop, and it's like all the sides are up and we're ready to go. It's really funny. I think it's like our own little thing that, you know, we're trying to like.
You should
get
time
really
yourself
good.
so
I
you
know.
can get
That's what I
faster and
said last
faster.
night.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's in an A-liner?
Okay. Yeah. So it's pretty much got everything, barring a like a toilet and a shower,
Right.
basically. So we have a bed with storage underneath on the left side. On the right side, we have a whole dinette area. So we have a table and two bench style seats, and
Yeah.
then right in front we have a stove and a sink and some cabinets, and then another like cabinet on the left when you walk in. So it's quite spacious. It's like an 8-foot or so peak, so
Yeah.
it feels really big. And a nice big bubble window, and yeah, it's a lot more spacious than you would think.
Do you cook in there? Or-
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, so we have a little fantastic fan, and that can blow in and out, so you can cook in there. You
Yeah.
can do anything in there, pretty much.
That's
Dance
really cool.
party, you know.
Yeah. Tell everybody who Tom and Pippi are. Also.
Oh yeah, so Tom is my fiance and my touring partner and caddy extraordinaire.
Yeah. Anytime you see a picture with Missy and you see a caddy, that's gonna be Tom. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Killing it.
Yeah, so you know, he's out here on the tour with me, which is always good to have somebody to be touring with
Sure.
you, especially if you like each other. That helps. But and then Pippi is my little Australian cattle dog. She's not really that little. She's quite bulky and heavy and tries to tackle you, and yeah. But yeah, it's so super cool to have her out on tour too, and she's loving it. She has been on road trips with us plenty of times before, and yeah, she's just a super cool dog.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
Now I'm guessing based on some things that I've seen on your Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, that the A-frame camping and the camping out and being outdoors wasn't just brought on because you wanted to go on tour for disc golf, right? You had done this type of stuff before touring disc golf, right?
Yeah. We're big outdoor enthusiasts. We've rock climbed, we've camped, we've just kind of done whatever, and we want to know how to do all these types of things. Tom was an outdoor rec major, so he knows how to like survive in the wilderness. So yeah, I mean, it was just I think that we kind of are like the perfect people to be out on tour. We're able to kind of just roll with the punches and figure things out. So yeah, the A-frame is just kind of like an extra luxury, honestly.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Is that the for the lack of a better term, I can think of the nomad type of living
Yeah.
that some disc golfers have.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't be that foreign to you because you were already that type of person where you camped out and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, for sure. And going out on tour last summer, we were just camping out of my car. So this is like a huge step forward and feels kind of like glamping almost, because we were just trying to find somewhere to park and sleep in the bed of my car. So yeah, it's been quite an upgrade.
Now, do you normally in the camper go to RV parks, or do you just mostly boondock, or?
I mean, we're set up for both, but yeah, we, so for Beaver State, I just got into that. So we have a campground set
cool.
up for that. And I think Jonesboro, there's like a campground right like on the course or near the course. So we plan to do that. And then, like I said, with the A-liner community, I've reached out, actually at the memorial, I just reached out on Facebook to an A-liner in Arizona Facebook group, and some lady was just like, yeah. So shout out to Sally
Nice.
in
Very
Scottsdale. Yeah, she just let us park in her driveway and
That's cool.
use some hookups.
That's very
yeah,
cool.
So it's been cool.
All right, so Chaser wants to know what's your go-to order at Torchy's?
I have never been.
Get her out of
Dun,
here.
dun, dun.
Get her out of here.
You would have eaten there had you gone to Waco.
Yes. And actually, I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but there was one like 20 minutes north of where I lived in Colorado, and I never went. So, yeah. But
How did she get on the team?
Yeah, we're gonna have to renegotiate after this.
But I can probably say I could speak for me and Tom. We eat like anything, so we'd probably like
You'd
pretty
like
much
it.
anything.
Oh, of course. Randall wants to know if you could be any other pro athlete, which sport would you choose?
Well, we were just talking about
Yeah,
this.
we were.
Realistically, some of the sports that I played, one was volleyball, and super fun. Probably my favorite sport I have ever played. And so, yeah, that would be really cool to be, I mean, a professional volleyball player. I don't know. I don't know. You see it a lot in the Olympics, I guess.
Uh-huh.
You know, I never played beach volleyball, so I don't know if that would probably be really hard.
So you played more where you had a team, where not just a
Yeah,
2-on-2.
in a court. Yeah,
Okay,
on a
yeah.
court. Yeah. So that would be really cool, but maybe less realistically, I would like to be like a professional rock climber or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the highest rock you ever climbed?
Well, so I mean, I guess, so there's like rock climbing, you can do like different pitches. So like a lot of them are like single pitch. So that's just like one rope's length.
Oh, okay.
worth.
Okay.
But we've done, I think, as high as 3 pitches. So that's like you go up one full rope length, which is quite long, and then you anchor, and then you keep going up. So back in New York, there's the Shawangunk Range up in New Paltz, New York, that we actually did a lot. And so, yeah, I think a 3-pitch climb is about the
Who was the
highest I've done.
rock climber, you or Tom?
Tom originally, so like I said, he was a outdoor rec major in college, so he learned how to do all that, and I just kind of like, yeah, sure, I'll try it.
Were you scared
Oh,
the first time you did it?
Oh yeah, and I'm like, I get discouraged when I'm not good at something, and so like even with disc golf, I like almost didn't continue
Just
with
like,
disc
"This is
golf because
dumb."
I was like, no, I can't do this. But luckily, I'm competitive enough that I have to try to learn. So yeah, I just kind of threw myself into it with him, and it became something we did a lot. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
One more quick question. Forehand tat.
Oh, this one.
You said forehand, yeah. but
Forehand?
Oh yeah. So you have. It says Chip.
Chip, yeah.
Okay,
So
what's the story on that?
Yeah, he was another pup of mine. He passed away unfortunately last year, right around this time of the year, actually. So yeah, I just shout out to Sanders Ink Studio in Fort Collins. Figured I'd memorialize him a little bit. through
Very
the
cool.
tattoo,
Very
yeah.
cool. Is that the only
All
tattoo
about-
you have?
No, I think that's like my 6th. Yeah.
I did not know that. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know all 6. I knew she had more than one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I only have one as well.
One all over. One continuous.
It was all one sitting.
Yeah,
One
right.
sitting.
Very cool. All right, let's get back to some regular questions. We have a few more we'll get back to for Missy. Cool. This one is from Kyle. He says, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but why is it when we see a DD video in the warehouse area, there are piles and piles and piles of discs in lots of colors, but when we go to the DD website, they are very limited color and weight choices? Well, Kyle, here is a little story I want to tell you. No. What it is, Kyle, is you have to understand that we are, in a sense, 2 different companies. We are Dynamic Discs, the retail store, and Dynamic Distribution, the disc golf distributor. We are the distributor for Westside, Dynamic Discs, and Latitude 64. The store is treated just like any other store. They have to order.
Yeah, they're a customer.
Yeah, they're a customer. They have to place an order, and sometimes they place enough. Sometimes they don't place enough of an order, and so that's why you see the limits on the retail side, whereas in the warehouse we have everything. And to be fair, we try to be fair to other stores. We don't say all those discs are ours. We have to be smart about what we order for that store. So that's how that works. Mm-hmm. All right, next one comes from Richard. Yeah, he made that name up.
Malachi?
No. Yeah, he made that.
Okay.
I won't even say it because it's phonetically not a good word.
Great.
All right. In my last tourney, I got 17 spit outs and 36 holes. How do you recover from this during your round? I have a soft spin / loft putt. They were Mach 3s as well.
Had how many spit outs?
17 spit outs and 36 holes.
I don't believe it.
Oh, wait.
It's time to. No, I'm not saying it.
I am. Robert, are you going to keep it real?
Is it off?
Yes.
I'm going to keep it real.
Is it off?
Okay. Let's talk about what a spit out actually is.
Okay.
Okay. So there are a lot of people, and I think this is a misnomer for what a spit out is. There is a lot of people who think that if they hit any chains and it doesn't stay in the basket, they'll call that a spit out. And it just isn't a spit out.
You said no way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So true spits, especially like with a soft spin putt, kind of like you said.
Is there literal water like spitting? Yeah.
It's like those little angel
Cherubs?
Yes. Thank you. That are just spitting out water. That's what that actually is.
Okay.
So let's move on. I'm just kidding. No. A true spit is one that hits on the pole, somewhere on the pole, and either comes straight back out or somehow cuts through. This happens more often on baskets like Mach 3s, but it can happen on pretty much any basket, honestly. I've even seen them happen on Mach X's, though most of the time those don't spit straight through. They usually push out the side a little bit more or straight back. Yeah.
If you don't put hard enough.
Yes. If you're playing 36 holes and you had 17 putts that hit chains and didn't stay, I could understand that. But if you hit the dead middle of the basket, and you really need to be honest with yourself when this happens, like if most of the putter is in the middle of the pole, or at least some of the putter is would be touching the pole if there weren't chains there, and it cuts through or spits back out, yeah, that's just unlucky. But there is a very, very, very small chance that 17 of those 36 holes you cut all the way through on a pure putt or spit straight back out.
There is times where I'll be at a tournament and someone will hit left side or right side and they'll be like,
spit out. No.
I'm like, no, that's not a bad putt.
Look, here's the thing. Like those ones, especially on the right side, that kill me is I a lot of times will hit right side chains. It'll fall straight down instead of kind of coming in with the spin. It'll fall straight down and kind of hit the side and fall out. Yeah. Those are okay. That's like a 50-50, right? Those stay sometimes. They don't stay sometimes. But it is very much not a spit out. If I wanted that disc to stay in the basket, I should have hit it more in the middle of the basket. Same with the left side. If it hits left, hits the rim, falls off, 50-50. That sucks that it happened. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't, but that isn't a spit out and you shouldn't blame the basket. In all actuality, it's more helpful for you to take responsibility for that and improve from it.
That's what I was going to say. I think mentally, if you tell yourself, hey, I just did not putt that the right way, I think that will help you even the next time that you go to putt, instead of thinking like, oh man, these baskets.
I got so lucky.
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's how a lot of people just are, like, blame anything except themselves.
Yeah, I got robbed.
I got to point blame at something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So let's Missy, let's take that scenario and let's say that he is having a bad putting round one or something like that. What do you do to reset yourself to get back on for, say, round two to kind of improve on that?
Sure. I mean, for me, it's just, again, it's like, it's so mental. So, if you just didn't have a good round one in general and your putting was part of that, just, it's okay to go and practice a little bit afterwards and sort of find that stroke again and find that confidence. Or, I mean, even if it's just like more beneficial to just sort of hang back and sort of remove yourself a little bit from the course altogether, and then maybe go back a little bit later and then get a couple of putts in and feel maybe a little bit better. But again, it just having that mental, like, that just wasn't my round, or, it just wasn't clicking. And just know that you've made those putts before. You're going to be fine. It just, maybe you just had a bad putting round, or a bad round in general. Yeah. So I don't know. I think you just have to keep positive and keep telling yourself, like, you've done this before. You're going to be fine. Just do it.
What do you putt with?
I putt with deputies, prime
Hashtag
deputies.
Team Deputy.
I was going to say, you already knew the answer to that.
Yes. Everybody should know that who follows me or knows me. Yeah.
Spin putt or push putt?
Spin putt for sure.
Is that what you started with, or?
Yeah, I have literally had probably the same putting form since I started, and that's a bigger thing, even a bigger thing that I kind of preach. People ask me sometimes, how should I putt, or blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't. It's sort of, I kind of live by like, learn your putt, don't pick your putt. I kind of thing is like, feel what's comfortable, and then like learn those release points and just stick with something. I know people who like change their putt all the time, and that's fine too, to an extent. I think that you have to just keep practicing what feels comfortable for you. And, it's okay to emulate like a pro or whatever, but if you look at some of the top pros, really none of us look the same when we putt, in my opinion. There are very similar styles of putts, but we still don't really all have the same form when we putt, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I do notice when I ask people, spin putt or push putt, and they're like, spin, so not all the time is it spin or, push, but, what was I? Oh, yeah. When you are stepping up to putt, and let's say it's like right around your confidence ring, maybe a little bit out of your confidence ring, is there a routine that you go over in your head? Like, okay, I'm going to stand here. This is my thoughts. This is what I'm aiming at. Do you go through anything like that?
Sort of. I'm kind of a very, when I'm putting well, I am like totally blank up there. And there's still a routine I follow. I don't know that I'm consciously following it. It's just I know what I like how I like to feel before I putt. And I'm also kind of like an aim small, miss small type of person. So I will actually really dial in my focus on the basket, on something in the basket, not like a link or anything, just kind of like an area. So that's sort of, once I have that eyesight kind of focus, then I'm ready to go. And every putt is my confidence range. And when I step up, I'm like, I'm making this, and if I don't, at least I know that I put myself in that right headspace to give me the best chance to do it.
Excellent.
For sure. Missy won't say this about herself, but I'll say it about her. Missy's a really good putter, like very, very good. I just pulled up on UDisc at the Memorial Championship. She was second in Circle 1 X putting and 8th in Circle 2 putting. And so, one person putted better than her all weekend, so Nicole Johnson. I saw her make some big putts. Nice. But other than that, Missy putted better than everyone else inside the circle.
Sweet.
So, nice.
Yay.
So you should listen to her. Even if before you're like, I don't know, she's questionable. She's not. You should listen to her.
She's an A-liner. I don't know.
All right. She slept in a Walmart parking lot one time.
All right, this next question is from Cyrus.
Hello, Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
Nice.
Eric the Beard McCabe.
Nice.
And Robert Loose Cannon McCall.
No, that's AJ.
I'm Cyrus from Minnesota. And first off, I would just like to thank you guys so much for your hospitality when I came down to Emporia during the Monkey Island Open week. You guys were so nice. I had so much fun caddying for Anthony and just enjoying what Emporia has to offer. Yeah. So on to my question. I've been putting with Prime Deputies for about a year now, and I love...
What did he say?
Prime Deputy.
You're going to be mad when he says something else here in a second. Go ahead.
The flight, but when I get... I love the flight and the feel, but when I get inside the circle a little more or in the wind, I would like a disc that has a little more overstability and predictability.
Yeah, next question.
And I know, Robert, do you have a disc for me? But
he listens to the show.
One is just a little too deep for the feel I like for putting putters.
You say a little too stinky?
And I really love the feel of the Deputy. So I was just wondering if you guys know of any beadless putter in the Trilogy lineup that has the feel of a Deputy, but the flight of a Warden and the depth of a Deputy. So thank you guys so much for answering my question, and keep it real.
Oh, we go.
Well, Cyrus, do I have a disc for you? I'm just kidding. I met Cyrus this week. He was it was cool watching him walk around, and
that's who we played. Me, Danny, and Anthony played on Friday, I think.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
Or Monday or Tuesday. Completely different times of the week.
It's a cool cat for sure.
It was a day.
Yeah.
So
it was a day, yeah.
as far as the depth of the deputy, there are only 2 putters that really come to mind that are even kind of close, and that's the Pure.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yep, that's the one that I think is the closest to the depth that has just a touch more stability. I think the one that the rim feels the most like a deputy that may be a little bit deeper but is more stable is the Mercy.
It's definitely deeper.
It's definitely deeper. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's as deep as a Warden, but it might be.
And I think a lot of it isn't. I mean, it does have a micro beat on the bottom, which kind of helps with that. But I would say the Pure is probably going to be your best bet
for sure, or the Warden.
Now it's not going to be super overstable by any means, but it will be more stable than the Deputy.
All right.
You could also check out the Warden,
or Keystone. It's another one.
Oh yeah, Keystone's actually a really good one. I didn't think
it
about
actually
that.
feels like a smaller Warden.
And that's the amateur match play one, right?
Is that what you're gonna say? Anthony was gonna say Maiden.
I was thinking Maiden too.
Said,
I haven't thrown it yet.
He said beadless though.
He did say beadless, and don't you throw them, right? You don't putt them. Yeah.
So because Team Warden.
Because he's a weirdo.
What?
Wait, what?
Next one comes from Ron.
Ron Swanson.
That's what.
Hello, Bobby. Cool, Daddy, Slick Breeze,
boy, Ron.
Eric, The Truth, McCabe, and Robert. 1 out of 3 correct. McCall. I've been watching you guys.
Got him. 1 out of 3 what?
I don't know, but I just got burned as per usual.
Yeah,
so
you did.
that's cool.
Since last summer when I picked up the sport of disc golf, and I've learned a lot from you guys, and I appreciate everything that you've done. I've learned that the Glass Blown Open is a big deal, that it is in Emporia, Kansas.
Yep.
And that Emporia, Kansas is about 2 hours away. I've watched just about every video imaginable on YouTube of the Glass Blown Open. And so I really made it a goal of mine to be able to make it out there this year. Problem is, my cancer is being a little more stubborn than I had anticipated. And I started phase 3 of my treatments back on February 25th and 26th. I did the first of my 2 treatments, the next 2 treatments today, and I do another one tomorrow. And my next treatments will be on the 22nd and the 23rd of April, the week of Glass Blown Open.
Darn it.
My question for you guys is, if I am feeling up to it, would it be worth my while to make that 2-hour trip up to Emporia, Kansas on Saturday, the 27th, to watch the Glass Blown Open? Thank you guys for everything you do, and grow the sport.
Ron,
I would actually say Saturday is the day to
that's
come.
the day
if
to
you're
be
coming,
here.
that's the day to come.
Yeah, if you can only come one day, that's the day. You're gonna see the obviously the ending of the tournament, the big round to see who wins.
Yeah, both MPO and FPO play at Country Club on Saturday for the for their last round.
And that's
it'll be all dressed up for the final day, and then we'll have the inaugural rainwater Raz round, which is going to be a good time.
Oh yeah,
and then that evening will be the block party. So if you can stay, maybe plan to stay overnight if that's possible. Go home Sunday because Saturday will be jam packed. And if you do, Ron, make sure you come find Robert, Eric, or myself. Please and shake our hands because we'd like to meet you.
Definitely, yeah. Thoughts and prayers with you as you battle that cancer as well.
Absolutely.
I also want to know what I was 1 for 3 on.
Yeah, find Robert and explain it to him.
Thank you.
He will be perplexed until then.
Yeah.
All right,
let's leave it that way.
I literally won't stop thinking about it until then.
Literally. Let's see. Last question from SpeakPipe.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man. This is Alan from Wyoming, and I have a question on putting. Hopefully, Emacs there since he's the world's best putter.
He's really
Anyways,
good.
I've been working all winter to get my putting better, but I've been limited since we have like 5 feet of snow. I had to practice inside, and I didn't have a lot of space. And what I found is I basically got really good from 20 feet in because that's what I could practice inside. But the second I step outside 20 feet, 25 feet, my percentage really drops. I don't know if it's like a mental block or a form thing, but I was wondering if you guys have any tips on being able to increase your putting percentage from that 20-foot mark outside the edge of the circle, and maybe even a couple of jump putt tips. I've been looking for like a jump putt video, and it's really kind of hard to find. Maybe you should have Danny make one. Thanks for all you guys do. I really appreciate everything that you guys have taught me, and I hope that you can answer my question. Thanks.
Nice.
Danny, do you not have a jump putt video?
I don't.
You don't? Okay, well.
I will shortly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, we'll see if we can get Danny to make one.
Let's
but
do it, Danny.
Eric McCabe, what you got?
I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this question anymore since my putting game has gone a little downhill since my tour days. But I was somewhat in the same boat. I mean, growing up or living in Kansas, I spent some of my off seasons here. I spent some down in Texas where it was a little warmer. But it's really all about just, getting out and knocking that rust off, really, is all it's about. When it is nice enough outside to be able to go out and actually work on a little bit longer putts to get that confidence up. For me, my particular spin putt is I have pretty much the same release angles from a 10-footer as I do a 25, 30-footer. So for me, it's all just repetition and just getting out and practice and practice and practice. There's really nothing you can really say to be like, well, this is what you need to do, and your putting is going to click. It's about, as Missy mentioned, being confident. There's so easy for me to say, hey, just go be confident and do it. But at the end of the day, I know for a fact when I was on top of my putting game, my confidence level was through the roof. I knew for a fact that I was going to make a putt. If I ever stepped up to a putt and there was any doubt in my head, I probably missed a putt. So you have to completely eliminate that. And if any type of a doubt comes into your head as you're standing over the putt, back off it, Back off, refocus, do whatever you do, go through your little routine, whatever it may be, and then, just re-putt. So, just really get out there and practice.
Yeah.
Find a practice basket and spend hours at it, because that's what I used to do.
Yeah, I agree. I know we don't all have this luxury, but if you can find like a putting league in your area,
Winter Marksman League, maybe.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I think that my putting really hit an all-time high when I was participating in 2 putting leagues over a winter. And I didn't care, they weren't really that close by, but it was just something that I could do during the winter months that was inside, that got me at those different putting distances. And even we made it challenging sometimes, and you'd have to putt over something because you'll find those types of obstacles.
Yep.
Yeah, so
you put yourself in that position when you're on the practice green too. If you have trees that you can place your practice basket around, that's,
for sure.
That's perfect.
Yeah, even when I warm up for putting before a tournament, I will practice. If there's a tree nearby the practice basket, I will straddle behind it just to kind of get that little bit of practice in. And I've straddle putted a lot more than I wanted to, but I got better at it because I had to. Definitely repetition, which is what the putting leagues help me get, is just that repetition and focus from different distances. And putting inside is great. You might get a little bit of tunnel vision, I think, when you putt inside,
and not outside of the elements.
So when you go back outside and you have this big vast area around you, it sort of it doesn't feel the same, in my opinion. But it's still, if that's what you have, that's great. Just keep that stroke going, and
Well, I know even when it was cold outside, I would spend at least 20-30 minutes outside putting. And a lot of my focus was indoor putting, but if I could be outside, I would be outside.
Yeah, definitely. And
jump putting, as far as that goes, I don't really jump putt. I just don't. I mean, if I'm jump putting, I'm a long ways out, or I'm just trying to lay up. So maybe Robert can talk a little bit more, because I know Robert will jump putt from 50 feet probably, where I'll stand still putt from 70.
Yeah. If I can get the disc to the basket standing still, I prefer to do that because I just feel a lot more in control. But if I can't, the way that I jump putt is kind of just like falling through the putt. I don't really try to jump all at the same time. I feel like my left foot which is my back foot, comes off the ground about the same time as I'm trying to let the disc go from my hand and then just kind of follow through. Plus, that also sets you up to run it down like AJ, and then you can do your celebrations that you've been practicing. Just kidding. He's really good at that. I'm not. But yeah, when it comes to jump putting and even just putting outside 20, if you move back to 25, follow through becomes so much more important at that distance, even than it is from 20, because you can kind of flick your wrist and get away with it from 20 and in. You can just kind of toss it. But I think outside that is where you really have to reach toward the basket and commit to making sure the disc gets there, right? When I'm putting well, I'm putting through the basket. So if there was no basket there, I'm probably going to land 10 or 15 feet past. Not super far
Through
past.
it, like spit outs?
Yes. I had 17 over 36 holes one time. Did you know that? But yeah, just making sure that you're putting through the basket. I don't have to try and land it in the basket. That's what the chains are for at this point. But follow through. I mean, I will chalk up almost all of my putting woes during this last weekend's second round to just not following through. I felt it, and then I'm sure when I watch it later on, I'll see that as well.
Commitment and confidence.
Yep.
Those are the two.
Jace.
All right, so let's go to our questions here for Missy Gannon. By the way, that was our last question from the regular show. So if you have some YouTube questions, make sure you put them in the YouTube chat. And once we do the after show, patent pending, trademark, copyright, all rights reserved.
That's verbal commitment. That's binding.
Right. So
that's binding.
We'll get to those once we finish the audio show, but we'll get to some of Missy's questions. So someone says, Clint asks, other than money, what makes you the most nervous about going on tour?
Probably just like all of the unknowns, I guess. I think probably the biggest one is like where we're going to stay, and like there aren't always campgrounds nearby or, hopefully, I think so far a lot of them have worked out that way, but obviously free is always great, but it's not always the most convenient. So I think figuring out accommodations, where we're going to stay, and that sort of thing has been the most especially during the summer months, campgrounds in general are going to be booked or just by anybody, everybody goes camping or goes on family outings. So getting those booked early has been something that I need to prioritize, and I've realized that. So that's probably my biggest worry so far.
That almost happened to us at Waco when me and Robert went down there. The year before, we stayed at the I-35 RV park, and it wasn't really that crowded until closer to the weekend.
Right, but same spot every night, no problems whatsoever.
This time, we pull up, and the guy's like, I don't have very many spots left, and I know I'd reserved one, and it was full. I mean, it was full. And then even the second night, someone had came in and taken our spot because we weren't parked there, and he had to find us another spot to park in. So anyway, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Next one is from Jacob. Is the disc angled in the picture? Whoa. Easy.
Whoa.
Hey-o.
What kind of podcast is this?
Is the disc angled down in this picture because you're throwing an ante, or you look to lean forward and still throw a straight shot?
The picture that you posted
it was from
with my
Memorial, yeah.
Oh, well.
To be fair, I instruct them to slowly do a run up and not throw their disc, but to go through the action. So this isn't really a.
I guess I would say it is actually pretty accurate.
Okay.
Because when I do run up, and this is actually sort of recent. I've tweaked my form a little bit. I used to kind of have my left hand sort of touching the disc almost the entire run up, and I've tried to eliminate my left hand completely.
Oh, okay.
So it's just sort of where I hold it before I pull back and pull back through. So yeah, I am that's sort of how I do hold my disc when I'm doing my run up. It's just slightly angled up, but then I try to be conscious of having it flat when I finally reach back and pull through. So it's just what I do.
All right. And then the last question we have is from Missy Gannon. She asks,
a self question? Classic. Have you done that before on the show, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I haven't.
Besides this picture, why can't she ever keep a straight face when Bobby is taking pictures?
I don't know what it is.
Why is that, Missy?
It's who was that baseball player that always found the camera and would stare at the camera?
I know who you're talking about. It's awesome.
That's just I don't know. I can't. Every time I see a camera lens or something, I'm just I already smile all the time. That's just who I am. So, I'm sorry, Bobby. I can't ever give you any sort of.
No, I love that you smile all the time. I'd rather a person smile all the time than not smile ever.
Yeah.
But they, picture-wise, I look for the intense, the thought provoking pictures and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
so-
I do remember one time I was doing a video, and I was like, oh yeah, she's got the look. Okay, keep that look. And then you walked by or something, and you said the whole time I was thinking, don't smile, don't smile, don't smile.
Nice.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
What was it? Sometime last year, Missy was told that she was the most photographic.
Yes. Alyssa.
Photographic.
Yeah.
Come on, Robert. Pictures. Alyssa Van Lannen, who shoots pictures for Disc Golf Pro Tour and then just now a lot of different disc golf stuff, said Missy was the most photogenic disc golfer.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. There are photos that I have of you that your intense face is just, it has intense all over it. I think it is
With a
cool.
smile.
Huh?
With a smile.
With a smile, yeah, the smile's in there somewhere. So, but yeah, your pictures. In fact, we use it for the in the bag opener little video because there's one where I'm even closer to you, and you're just like
dialed.
Yeah,
Laser
the laser eyes.
I'm
Ready to
super
go.
focused.
Super
I just,
focused. So.
Always.
Yeah.
Now, someone did ask a question. I don't know if this is it true that your hybrid escapes are better at finding the basket than other escapes?
You know it, Brian.
You know it.
I saw that. Heck yeah. So,
oh yeah, so he's
he
got a
picked
gun.
one up.
That's
he has
right.
a he must
Speaking
have,
of that, what you got in front of you there,
well,
Missy?
this one is actually a fusion burst escape, but any escape will do, especially with this stamp on it. So, yeah, these are my 2019 Tour fundraiser discs. I do have 2 different stamps available. I have my Gannon bar stamp, and then I also was fortunate enough to have Les White with Jacob from DD to collaborate on my other Gannon Cannon stamp. So I have a bunch left, and I'll continue to have a bunch throughout the season. And these are like super helpful for me on tour, keeping me on tour. So please send me a message on whatever platform, Instagram, Facebook. And if you're looking for any sort of cool discs with these stamps on it, I tend to have a lot of different molds. So yeah, hit me up and I'll send one out to you or more. Or
so
2
on
or 3.
Facebook, just Missy Gannon.
Yeah, Facebook is, yeah, I mean, you can message me, Missy Gannon. I also have a professional sort of page with Missy Gannon and my PDGA number, which is 85942. And then Instagram, I'm really active on as well, and that's just at Missy_disc golf. So yeah.
Easy.
All right, real quick before we go, we got to tell our listeners about skipace.com and see how we did on Throw Down the Mountain.
I forgot to check.
All right,
so probably bad.
So pull up your skipace.com if you're near a computer. And we ranked 205.
That's not great.
Not so good.
I've heard of people doing better than that.
Wait. Maybe I have it pulled up wrong. Okay, hold on.
Are you dyslexic?
What was no. I don't have that.
502?
That's for everything. No, it was for this particular. Nope. Yep, 205 for Throw Down the Mountain. We got 25 points. Let's see who got us the worst. Simon Lazant got us 175.
The heck, Simon.
Macbeth got us 250. Madison got us 250, and Liz Carr got us 110.
Yep, that was my pick. Hey, look at her second round though. She killed it the second
good.
round, and she jumped all the way to like second or something, and then.
So Michael Joe got 225, and Calvin got us 215. So 205.
Calvin?
So that means there's a lot of people that are eligible to win, since 204 people did much better than us.
What did you say we got? Oh, 1225. Here we are.
Yeah, 1225.
View picks. Sweet.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do real quick, we'll go to random number generator, and we'll pick 1 through 204. Correct. 204. Oops. 4. Generate 81. So we got to go back a couple pages here. 81. Come on, Johnny. If you get a faster website. 81 is.
It's one of the ties for
Oh,
72nd, of which both Anthony and Danny are tied for 72nd. They are not eligible to
They are
win.
not eligible to win. So how many is there?
You suck.
1,
You
2,
suck.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Just do it
7,
again.
8.
And
A
Just do
lot.
it again?
And well, no, do it at a.
Oh, that's what I
how
was
many you
counting.
tied?
That's what I was counting.
Oh gosh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
So do 15 randomizer,
15?
and then
Sure.
Danny wins.
And Number 15.
Jim Helpert.
That is Easton Popma.
That's all I can think
Easton
of.
Popma. If you're listening, remember that's part. That's the
James.
second part of the qualification is you have to be listening and know that you won. So Easton Popma, send me an email with a screenshot of you logged into SkipAce, and we'll figure out how to get you a disc for beating us in our skipace.com.
Nice.
The next one coming up is Nick Hyde.
Nick Hyde.
That is this coming weekend.
This coming weekend for
Yep,
sure.
Is 100%.
All right,
'Cause
so
in
let's
Jonesboro.
create.
Yes.
All right, so who do we got? We
While,
want to.
while we do this, if you have questions for us and also Missy, go ahead and put those in the YouTube chat. We'll be getting to those shortly.
So let's see. We have 84 players. We have, a lot of players that are over 1,000 rated.
Whoa.
Pretty much a lot of the big names. Eagle McMahon is going to be the highest rated, followed by Richard Wysocki.
Richard.
Richard.
As he's formally known.
Yes. No Macbeth, huh?
He go. I heard he didn't want to play disc golf anymore. He averaged 1080 something for a week and was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he set another record, and he was like, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Was it 3 consecutive course records? Like first day and then beat it by 1, the next day beat it.
Are you sure it's this weekend?
Yes. No. It is not this weekend. At least based on this.
Yeah, it's not on the
No, it's
schedule.
not this weekend. It's the following weekend.
Okay, there we go.
Can you take back your sass now?
I can.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, do we want to pick it now, or we
Yes.
want to pick it next
Next
week?
week.
Next week to see how people play, or I guess there isn't anything happening this weekend, is there?
I don't know what's happening this weekend.
There's a lot happening this weekend.
If only
Oh,
there
it's
was a
the-
site
the
that told
collegiate.
us.
Collegiate's happening this weekend. That's why.
All right, we will defer till next week to make our picks.
Yes.
We want to make sure people are healthy, ready to go if they're at the events before we pick them. So, all right. So this is the end. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on the audio portion. If you want to take part in the after show, make sure you tune into YouTube. We try to go live around 2-ish on Tuesday afternoons. Thank you so much, Missy, for joining us on this show.
Thank you for having me.
You sharing your knowledge with us.
You know.
We appreciate that. And you've already said, and you already talked about where people can follow you on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook.
Now, do you do anything with your A-liner stuff, or do you? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I mentioned that I am, and I haven't yet. So I'm trying to keep myself honest and do something like a tour, or like a Cribs A-liner or something.
Yeah, you should.
So
I mean, you got a good videographer with Tom. He's always out there filming your
Yeah,
rounds and stuff like that.
We got to
so
do that. We did a lot of renovations to it, kind of cosmetic stuff. So
I think people would find that interesting.
Yeah, I should do that. I will.
Cool stuff. All right, thanks again, Missy. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
Hey, see ya.
All right. There we are back. All right, we're back.
We back.
For the YouTubers. What do we got for questions on YouTube?
Scroll back up just a little bit.
Somebody wanted to know what Missy did as a 9. Denise actually asked this question. What Missy did for a 9 to 5 before she started touring.
Sure. Yeah. So out in Colorado, I was a project manager for a small predictive analytics company. So yeah, long and short of it was just sort of like a cool thing with a lot of data, and I have an analytical background with my degree, so in GIS, and so it was just cool to, just a cool little niche market that I did for like 4.5 years, and then before
you said GIS.
Yeah, it was Geographic Information Systems, so I did a lot of analytical mapping and stuff like that in college.
So when you're driving down the road, you look out the window and you're just analyzing it.
Oh yeah.
Mountain, trees, mountain.
You see this disc where it looks like just her arm is robotic? Nay, she is robotic. Figures, math. That's what's happening in Missy's brain.
Oh, here we go. Chaser wants to know: are you Team Bobby or Team Tony?
Ooh.
He's referring to the bet to see who could be better. Of course, Anthony already has a
Anthony's
really great
off to a
start.
good start.
A very good start.
Yeah. So just to catch you up, Missy.
Yeah.
Bobby is currently rated 807. His goal is to get to 850 by the end of the year.
Okay, you got this.
Yep, got it. A little bit of a setback at Monkey Island. He averaged a little under that.
Okay.
790 something, I think. And then Anthony is currently rated 908. He's trying to get to 950, and so they're just battling to see who can get closest or get there first. Anthony averaged 930 something this week, so he's off to a little bit of a head start. So
Ooh, I don't know.
Team Bobby or Team Tony?
Once you're in like the 900s, it's a battle to get there. I'm gonna say just by sheer like, if I take my analytical background.
Sure.
Do we need to be outside so it's the geographical analytical?
I might be Team Bobby on this,
Dang.
not because of any sort of
Oh,
I don't
thanks.
like one over the other. or
No,
anything.
dang, like, dude, she did it. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's like a
No,
hype
she's
man.
like, I'm Team Bobby. Not for anything, but for
I-
the math
well,
of it.
yeah.
Other than
Well,
that,
yeah, I'm
Bobby sucks. So, but the math is on his side.
I'm just
Hey, look, she didn't say it. You said it, okay?
I'm just keeping it
You're
real.
projecting
Oh,
onto
she,
Thank
oh, she keeping it real.
Glad somebody can do it around here. Goodness. So, anyway,
The thing
yes.
is that what I'm worried about with Anthony is the workload. I know his job can be pretty stressful.
Is that right?
And a lot of things may come his way where he may not be able to practice
Yeah.
a lot. So I'm a little fearful of that.
hey, but it doesn't really matter if he doesn't practice as long as you also don't practice.
But I may not have
continue
as
to
many
not practice.
projects.
Well, that's fine, but you still have to practice.
Yeah.
This is true. I do have to practice.
Facts are facts.
I'm going to go practice.
Right now?
No.
Okay.
Maybe
in
some
a
other
little bit.
time. Let's see.
I've got one for you. Henry Dudley says, is reverse X step bad form? Should I work on getting my left leg behind my right? So right now he's putting right foot down, then left foot in front, then right foot to throw off of. What do you think there, Missy?
Yes,
Yes.
you should change that.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You're definitely going to want to work on that. I'd say the biggest reason is that this doesn't allow it doesn't allow your hips to do anything. Like you're twisting from forward to sideways only to throw forward instead of allowing your hips to get turned backwards a little bit and then rip through on that. Danny just messaged me and said a lot of people, when they do that, it's because they're trying to sprint into the throw. He said 100% he's running onto the tee-pad. So you might want to slow down some and definitely get your left foot behind your right. That's going to allow your hips to get into the correct position to throw the shots that you need to.
I would also be concerned of falling over.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
tripping up on
Oh,
my feet.
yeah.
Shay will still occasionally step left foot in front of right. And I'm like, Shay, that's not right. She said, I don't care. Whatever. Fine, Shay. Kyle Chandler says, best tips for woods golf playing a tournament at the IDGC this weekend.
That's a lot of woods, too.
Super woods. What do you think, Missy?
I would say coming from Colorado and then starting my tour pretty much on the East Coast last year was a big wake-up call on getting more familiar with my mid-ranges and my straighter flying fairway drivers and being okay with not always going to my distance drivers when I'm in the woods. A lot of the time it's about placement and not so much about distance. Short distance is helpful, but if you're gonna find yourself in the fairway every time, you're always gonna be better off. So
Right.
that's my best advice.
I agree. Eric, what do you think about some woods golf?
Woods and then.
It's wooded.
The food and the eating is I got you.
Oxen and then.
Yeah, I got you.
Honestly, when I play in the woods, it's not very often because I mean, when I play here now. It seems like, but
What we got woods here.
we got woods. We got a tree on the course.
One.
One thing to keep in mind when you are playing in the woods is take your medicine. If you kick off into the rough, just pitch back out. Don't try to find the hero gap because you're probably not going to hit it, and you're going to end up costing yourself 2 or 3 more strokes than you need. So most likely, most of the time when I kick off into the woods, I'm just trying to get back to the fairway.
Yep.
Even if it's throwing a little bit backwards. I've had to do that before.
Definitely. Adam Smith says, who loses the most discs on the team, and will Simon Eagle at GBO again? Who do you think loses the most discs on the team?
I don't know that I know this answer.
I don't either. No one comes to mind as like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I lost like 3 at the Memorial.
That's really good.
Practicing.
Yeah, like that. That's pretty
That's
solid.
still really good.
Yeah, and it felt like a lot. And
I lose 3 around at the Memorial when I practice.
Dunk.
And luckily, it was all only during practice rounds, and I didn't lose any during the rounds.
Solid.
But I did my in the bag like right before I practiced, and I lost a few, and then my in the bag is like completely different now.
So
I lose
inaccurate.
that.
No, I replaced them, so it's the same. But yeah,
Sweet.
I don't know.
Will Simon Eagle at GBO again? Adam, like probably. I don't
Well,
know.
Simon Eagle at probably not that same hole because
No, because he's
it.
not playing that hole. But maybe
Eagle,
some.
yes,
other
Simon will get an Eagle at GBO.
one. I think so. Maybe hole 1 or something.
Nobody's ever done it before.
Yeah, Jake.
I have a bet with Doug.
Jake Hebenheimer did it last year.
That didn't count.
Good point.
I have a bet with Doug.
I'm ready.
The new 8 or hole 9, 8 to 9.
Yes.
GBO.
Yes.
Doug believes that there will be 3 different people get an eagle on it. I told him there will be no people getting an eagle on that hole.
Yeah, I'll take.
He's
0
just
on
saying
the
3,
Eagle.
or he said specific 3.
3 different people.
Did he say who, or he just says 3
the
people?
The bet is just 3 eagles on that hole.
3 eagles must happen. I'd be interested. To
I
see
do
if
not
this
see
happens.
anybody getting unless 3 people could throw in, but we're moving that basket back too. So
Which one is it again? 8.
8 to 9. Current 8 to
So
9. You
tee
remember
off
where old
up by the
1
pool.
was?
Yeah.
Where we teed off by the pool?
Yeah.
That's 1 hole now to the next hole.
Whoa.
And we moved that basket.
Oh, be on
back.
both sides. It's going to be a
It's
tough hole.
doable, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Paul Macbeth is totally washed up, Chaser says. That's correct.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right.
Yeah,
He's on a beach or
won't
something?
He won't ever win again. In the bag video soon, Joshua says.
Yes.
Anthony gave me a thumbs up. So soon, yes.
Until then, you can go watch the one I put out of myself on a boat.
Nice.
In the bag.
In the bag on a boat.
Yep.
Flip Mode says collegiate championships, go NC State Wolfpack. Yes, go. Bentley says, is Paul Macbeth a robot? That's possible. He's very focused right now. He's playing really well for sure. Greldick says, are only the Lucid X series available on the DD store, or will Missy stuff be there too eventually? Right now we only have the Lucid X stuff on there. That may be something we'd be able to do in the future, but I'm not sure just yet. So, yeah.
Let's see, Missy Marvel or Disc?
DC.
Disc or DC?
Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, really? With regards to the there we go.
Really. Why? Are you a DC guy?
No.
Well, just the way you said it. Oh, really? Or are you talking about another question?
Daniel wants to know what state has the best disc golf courses.
I like Iowa. Iowa's got some excellent golf.
You really do.
I've always said that.
What do you say,
I've
Missy?
only said that once.
I don't know. I actually really like some of the courses in New York. I played one near or just outside of Albany called Joralemon, which is really cool, and then Warwick, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, is really cool. So I got a lot of really good practice in this over the winter. A lot of good woods and open shots there.
New York has some awesome golf. I'm actually going there to put in a course in like a month. So
Bowhunter says Pawhuska, Oklahoma has the lodge, and it is fantastic.
Yep.
it is fantastic.
You know about that.
I know about that. I was there when they first started putting in that course.
That is where I met Bobby.
Was that your first event, the Green Country Open?
Green Country Open
When he
was the
filmed
first.
it from his expedition.
Yes.
Ace hole.
You drove it around while filming?
Yep. It was cold, and he was Bobby.
Actually, it
I
wasn't
don't wanna
my
be outside.
It wasn't my first. It was my first big event, obviously. But I had I knew Jeremy Taylor and the father Jim Taylor owned the lodge, and he wanted me to do some website work. And I said, hey, I do video and photography, so I did some stuff for Joe Rotan to help raise some funds for the Green Country Open, which was an NT back in 2009. And the expedition came into play where what I did was I had a desktop computer in the back of my expedition. And it hooked up to my camera, and then a electrical cord running to the house, and I was filming live holes 17 and 18 on the island course. And now I've since been proven
That's not
wrong.
what I remembered.
Huh?
I remember you filming hole 2, the ace hole.
Now I did that one time too, but I
From
also
the back
did
of the expedition.
Yeah, from the back because it was
Yes.
cold. I was
Yes.
doing because you had to do the whole.
Oh,
windy and kind
I
of
was
rainy.
joking. You really did that.
No, he really did
Yeah.
that.
I don't want to be outside.
Yeah, it was cold. And
That's
so then I
Bobby.
did some live stuff as well from the back of my expedition. And that I believe I thought it was one of the first, but someone pointed out that somebody did something a few years before that live. But I did live, and I remember I had maybe 25 people or something like that, or maybe 100. I can't remember, but somebody from Australia said, I'm blah, blah, blah from Australia, and I'm watching disc golf. This is awesome. And I thought, this is awesome.
I made it.
I did it.
Dude, that's pretty cool. Texas O Buzz says Thunderdome or Swamps. I'm particular to Thunderdome, Texas. Danny says Swamps.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
Somebody, it's from a video game, Apex Legends. Anthony Vandenheuvel, first-time listener to the show, says, speaking of Bobby being cold, ask him about needing a blanket at Monkey Island Open Ace filming. So, first-time listener, what do you have to say?
First-time listener, Anthony. First of all, thank you so much for the question. I appreciate that. Hopefully, you don't have other things you need to be doing while you're watching this.
Maybe you can buy some merch on the Disc Golf Answer Man store later on to show your support.
So I had lost the bet to Anthony, so I had to film Sunday morning, and I looked at the temperature, and it said high of 62. So I thought, it's going to be a nice warm day, a little chilly in the morning. Well, I had underestimated the fact that there was cloud coverage. I had underestimated the wind that was rustling over the Flint Hills of Peter Pan Park, and the fact that I would be standing still the entire time. And so I had no layers on whatsoever, and I was freezing. And so I had to have someone bring me a blanket from the RV.
It was so funny. We were walking up to that hole, and Denise was like, "Oh man, I have to get my camera out and take a picture of Bobby." And I was like, "Where's Bobby? what are you talking about?" I just see this green blanket curled up in a chair, and I was like, "Bobby's under there."
It was still cold even under that blanket. Any chance you guys will be coming to Joplin this year for the 4 States Open, and we should have a new course design. We should have out new course design.
Sweet.
Probably have our new course design.
Probably what he meant, yes.
I'm going to back it up just a little because I don't know if we'll have an answer, but it's a good question. SDay99 says, I was diagnosed with a partial tear in a small muscle in my tricep today. What exercises would you recommend to someone to strengthen my muscles in and around that area? What do you guys think? Strengthening I mean, I know that you can for triceps you can do kind of those pull downs if you keep your arms in front of you, but I'm not sure if you want to do that if you've got a tear right there.
No, the thing is you have to keep in mind, and this is where someone like Seth from Disc Golf Strong is that it's not always about the muscle that the tricep. So yes, if you want to build your tricep pull downs, skull crushers they call them, that's building the tricep. But what's really important is building the muscles around it, the joints and the tendon, and strengthening those around it. So you really need to, without sounding whatever, you need to get some advice from people that are much more educated on this.
I would just reach out to Seth.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, we're pretty qualified.
That's true.
Because we all went to medical school.
Well, yeah, and plus we
watched Scrubs all 9 seasons.
Yes.
So we're basically ready.
And a little bit of ER back in the days when
occasionally.
It was,
No Grey's Anatomy, that's fake.
No way.
Okay.
That is so fake. Anyway, so the idea is that it's not just the tear that you want to take care of. You want to make sure you take care of the muscles and the joints around it, because that's the whole structure that's holding it all together to prevent those types of things from happening.
Yes. Next one down, Flip Mode says, this is probably a good one for Missy. On your drive, how locked out is your wrist pre-release?
Locked out, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to. I mean, if this answers the question, it's fully extended and straight as can be. So my wrist.
But it's not. You're not curling.
Not
it in.
curling.
Yeah.
It's one straight line from my elbow to my thumb, basically. So yeah, completely locked out, I guess.
I dig that.
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap things up. If you guys got more questions, save them for next time, but we've been on the air for quite a long time. It's time to take a break, and I've got a little sweat going on in my back, so we want to get rid of this. So thank you guys so much for tuning in on YouTube. And once again, thanks, Missy Gannon, for hanging out with us for these last couple hours. We appreciate it.
It's been fun.
We always love when team players come by and hop on the show. But make sure you guys follow her on her Instagram and on her Facebook page so you can follow along on their adventures.
Yeah.
And where do you play next?
I will be heading to Arkansas, and I'm kind of getting talked into playing the Vintage Open, which is in Russellville, on the way to Jonesboro, which is one that's definitely on the docket for my next event. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you're mostly sticking to the Disc Golf Pro Tour stuff, or
Pro Tour, National Tour, yeah, pretty much, the big ones. And a couple of small ones here and there, like the Monkey Island Open. I snuck in there, and so little ones along the way. But
excellent. All right.
Super quick, I put Missy's Instagram handle in the chat, Missy_disc golf. Go give her a follow. She's doing some stuff.
Excellent. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much.
Hey, see you.
bye.